Hello all, and welcome in here to WHF. And we're here for the sprint race, or not even the sprint race, just the social race in, oh my god, it's been a while since I've did commentary. As you can see, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. But we're here in Texas, in COTA, in a wet COTA. And we're on board now with Centrix for a wet qualifying, short qualifying here, followed by 50% race in Texas. We've got 15 on the grid, a couple newcomers to the league, like the names of Sid, Tom, Glitch 10, and Kylo. I'm gonna go with Kylo. But anyway, welcome all into the stream. Rain and quali, 3% chance of rain, ends with 11% chance of rain, says Ultra Titan. So hopefully we can escape without rain. We will see. But we do have a grid of 15 here. We have the return of Cookie in the RB, who is our previous champion of the last 4 seasons. He's on a Sebastian Vettel shiz. And if he is on a Sebastian Vettel shiz, that means we should have a new winner this season. But he could be on his Michael Schumacher to do 5 in a row. Who knows? We will see as we head through this season. But we will be following Centrix on his first lap in a wet COTA. And it'll be very interesting to see what kind of times the drivers are doing. Cookie himself, he says he's done no preparation for this. Centrix makes a big error at turn 1, losing the rear. Really struggling to find the power at the moment. But welcome all into the stream. It's on board with Centrix, who is drifting around this lap, losing the rear through every corner out of the S's here. And I don't think it's going to be a quick lap, but it's definitely going to be a stylish lap as Centrix heads into the hairpin in the Mercedes. But down the back straight he does go. And still on board with Centrix. Oh, what button have I pressed now? What kind of laps are we looking to set at the moment? We do have Jaden on a lap following Centrix as he's really struggling for grip here. You can see the Mercedes is just skating around the long left-hander and the right-hander. And it seems like the rear just has no grip throughout this entire lap as Centrix crosses the line with a 44.7. Meanwhile, it'll be Jaden in the Aston next. And I think we're going to follow Cookie on his lap to see how quick he can be. And it's rare to see Cookie in the RB. But he will be featuring in the RB for this social race in slightly different colours for this evening's race. And we'll see what Cookie can do on his first lap around COTA on the new game. I am yet to do COTA myself, but I know for a fact Cookie's first lap is going to be better than my best lap, as the Glitched Hen goes quickest with a 43.7, a second quicker than Centrix, and Centrix is a second quicker than Jaden, who's a second quicker than Naka Kraka. Very split field at the moment. Meanwhile, Cookie really losing the rear, just like we saw with Centrix. Just losing the rear through the long right-hander, but gets it under control. And where will Cookie go as he rounds the final corner? It is quickest by a tenth on his first run round, but that shows how quick the newcomer of the Glitched Hen is. Only a tenth off Cookie. Meanwhile, we've got a lot of drivers out here. Who is closest to finishing a lap at the moment? Let's see here. It will be Ultra Titan, who finished P3 in the championship last season on our final season on F1 23. And on F1 24, what can Ultra Titan do? Currently the slowest time. I wonder if he's doing an extra lap. We will see. Kylo, invalid. Lanky One is starting a lap. We do have, I believe it may be RAF or Tom H. Tom H. around for his first lap in the Williams in WHF. Losing the rear. Seems the rear really struggling for every driver here. Very loose in the rear as Tom H. up to P2. He goes. Brilliant lap there from Tom H. Just half a tenth off Cookie. And two newcomers of Tom and Glitched Hen looking very quick here so far. AMS Kylo with a purple first sector. It could be all the newcomers who could be outshining. Is this short quality? Yes, it is, Turbo. If you want an invite, I'll get you one. I'll get you an invite, Turbo. Hopefully you appear online, otherwise me finding you may be a bit difficult. I'll see if I can find your offline user. That might help anyway. Yeah, it's not going up. I don't think so. Anyway, back to Kylo. Well, there's a good couple spots, Turbo, so just join, and then if you don't feel it, you can just retire in the pits. Should be okay. But Kylo now around on his first lap with WHF here. And what can Kylo do in that Aston Martin as he crosses the line now? And it's a very quick lap time. It's over a second quicker than Cookie. Lovely lap time from the Aston Martin driver. And Kylo upshining the rest of the field at the moment. Supply Raptor, another very quick driver here in the Red Bull. Was a reserve last season with the WHF. As Jaden now improves in the Aston, he's now 3/10 off Kylo. It does seem like the track is drying at the moment. You can see the rain has dissipated. The track seems to be drying a lot more here. I think we're going to start to see the drivers come out on the softs, and Coldzilla in the pits, you can see, has already selected the soft tyres. Cookie now quickest with a 42.1. JG now switches on to the sauce. And yep, Turbo, Kylo is in here, and he's one of the quicker drivers out at the moment. But I wonder... Supply Raptor now up to P3, 42.6. But as you can see, the track is pretty much dry. There's a couple wet spots, but a dry line is forming to my eye. So if the drivers can get in onto the softs, it could be quite quick. We'll keep an eye on JG. He's the first driver out on track on the softs. You can see there's a couple wet patches on the track, but really no spray is appearing at the moment off the tires. So do believe it is dry, unless this is a visual glitch for us, and it in fact is still wet. And on board with JG, we can see he is struggling for grip. I wonder, is this the visual glitch we saw with Jarno Opmeer, where it was like, it looked dry, but it was still a wet track? Turbo says he's online now. Centrix goes quickest. We'll see, can I get Turbo in? Hopefully, there he is. Turbo's online now. We'll double check there's no one else needs an invite. Don't believe so. Centrix does go quickest, a second quicker than Cookie on the inters. But is it the crossover to the softs? Yet we will see as we follow JG on board in the RB. Ultra Titan says softs are faster, so we've hit the crossover point. Turbo Snail, you can see at the bottom of your screen, is finally in the lobby. As JG's backed out of his lap there, with the Aston Martin of Kylo overtaking him. But very strange to see Kylo out on an outlap on inters. Meanwhile, the likes of Ultra Titan says the softs are faster. We're yet to see the evidence of that, though.
Oh.
I love the sound. I love the sound so much. That was just the sound of me resubscribing, and Ollie loves it. Even though Ollie's not with us today, just know that Ollie loves every time you subscribe to WHF. We've got Tom H out on the sauce, JG also out in the sauce, but not going any quicker. Tom H struggling for grip. And it does seem to be as if we are seeing the Jarno Opmeer glitch that he showed in Hungary, I believe, where the track looks completely dry, but it's still really wet. Because it seems both JG and Tom are really struggling for grip on these softs. It seems they're gaining absolutely no time on their inter-run, as we see Tom head into the hairpin. So quite strange at the moment. Conditions have transitioned from inters to softs, but currently it doesn't seem like the softs are really improving that much out on track. But welcome in everyone into the chat. We've got 4 minutes remaining in the short qualifying session here in COTA, and I want to hear your predictions for pole. I mean, the easy prediction is always to go for Cookie, but with these changing conditions, really not quite sure at the moment. Visually, it seems like the softs may be the quicker tire, but we're seeing a lot of drivers struggle for grip on these softs. Tommy H coming back in again. And Turbo Snail's actually going out on the inters. Turbo Snail, if you're listening, everyone else seems to be on the softs, but maybe it could be inter conditions. Turbo Snail could pull a blinder here, because with the potential visual glitch, it could really be still inters, but for everyone else, it feels like soft. Centrix has taken the gamble. He's gone for the inters. Centrix has gone for the gamble here. He believes inters is the way to go, and he's sticking on the inters. Meanwhile, the likes of Cookie trying to leave it as late as possible to go onto the softs. We've got Kylo out onto the softs. Supply Raptor and Glitched Hand sitting in the box at the moment, as we see Supply Raptor does exit on the sauce. But interesting to see what is the right strategy here. Turbo Snail, I do believe, had a purple first, and I believe currently in the conditions, the inters will be quicker than we have seen so far. It just depends, are the softs even quicker than that? We kind of don't know. If in the event the Inters do go quicker, I feel like this is definitely a visual glitch, because at this point the track does look completely dry. Doesn't have any wet spots at all. But Turbo Snail will be a good indicator here, as well as Codzilla, who's out on the softs. Neither yet to set a lap, but we can compare the two drivers between each other. As Turbo Snail now in the Haas has one more corner to navigate. And where will he put that Haas? Can he get pole here in this surprising session? And currently he does put it on pole with a 40.8. But what are the conditions? Are the softs quicker, or is the Inters quicker? We don't know. Centrix has gone back into the pits. I think he's frustrated with being put on the wrong tire, but he may have actually benefited if he just stayed out on the Inters, but because currently we don't know if the Inters are quicker than the softs or not. Currently it looks like the softs should be quicker, but what the actual result we're seeing on track is that the Inters are quicker. And Codzilla now isn't going any quicker than his rivals. He's gone actually 4 seconds slower than the next driver. He's got 1 lap to do it, and he hopefully has saved up his battery. Hopefully that was just a extra push lap. Meanwhile, Kylo, or extra out lap. Meanwhile, Kylo has invalidated. Will any of the soft runners go quicker? I'm not sure. JG's backed out of his lap, and I think that's JG done for the day. YT Addiction's a second off his time. Ultra Titan back out onto the Inters and is 1.2 quicker than his previous lap time. But he has some traffic here. Is the Mercedes going to block him? That is the question. The Mercedes seems to have let him through. Can Ultra get pole here in these really surprising conditions where the track looks dry, but in reality the Inters seem to be the quicker tire? And currently Ultra's got a big lockup though. 2.8 down on his time as the checkered flag now has fallen. The lanky one isn't going to get a lap in, so it will be Ultra, the first driver across the line on these Inter tires. But will he go any quicker? Where will Ultra go? Oh, he goes very wide. Has to lift to keep it valid. And a bit of a scuffed lap from Ultra Titan, but it does put him up to P4. Still a good result for Ultra Titan. Are we going to see any drivers jump? Supply Raptor up 3/10. Is that going to be enough though? He crosses the line. Does improve to P3. The softs only seem to be over at the crossover now. Kylo is up half a second. Meanwhile, Cookie is around the final sector. He's a second up on his lap time. Has Cookie timed this brilliantly? We will see. Tom has gone even quicker. He's gone quicker by a second over Turbo Snail. Tom on pole in the Williams at the moment. Meanwhile, Cookie has one more corner to do it on these softs. Will he go quicker? He's less than a tenth behind Tom on the Inters. This is how close the crossover is. Glitched Hen up to P5, but Kylo 1.4 up out of sector 2 and invalidates. Kylo has thrown it all away. Could have potentially put it on pole as he crosses the line. It would have been pole. Kylo invalidated. And Kylo down in P9 could have had pole by 6/10 there, but invalidated out of the second corner. But as we've seen, it only seemed like the crossover came at the very end with Cookie less than a tenth off pole. But Tom H, in his WHF debut, will start on pole for the 50% race around the Texas circuit. A very split field, as you can see. Cookie and Tom very close here. Meanwhile, Turbo Snail 9/10 back, followed by Centrix. But you could see whoever completed their lap the latest there would have went quicker. So it all came down to the drivers at the end who could complete their laps. Turbo Snail says, how the hell is he P3 with no practice? It is because the track was a bit glitched. And the track seemed dry, but it was still actually wet. It was only at the crossover at the very end. So basically, anyone setting their lap late on the inters would have went pretty much quicker than all the laps beforehand, because that was when the track was at its quickest. And it only seemed like a couple drivers got in their final run. And it only seemed like Cookie really improved massively on that soft run. We did see Supply Raptor jump up a couple tenths, 3 or so tenths, but it didn't seem like anyone else really on the sauce made that much of an improvement. It was the drivers who went out on the inters who did get a big improvement. But anyway, we will be loading into the race. You can hear the chimes coming down as we will have 28 laps around COTA here in Texas. Who will get away well here as we have Tom in the Williams leading the 4-time WHF champion Cookie into turn 1. Cookie's already lightning into turn 1, leads the field away as they're 3 wide behind. Big contact in behind. Turbo Snail gets through, but he's missing an end plate. Already contact with a 3 wide moment. And there's a driver, I think it's Centrix, who's fallen all the way down to P8 with big contact involved there. Turbo Snail is going to lose out massively here with that clip. Meanwhile, JG and Glitch Hen battling, both going off. Centrix all over the rear of JG, but can't find a way through. Glitch Hen goes very wide, contact with JG. Damage for JG, I believe, after Glitch Hen goes very deep. Meanwhile, Supply Raptor all over the rear of Tom, who did not have the ideal start from pole, as Supply Raptor dives it in on the hard tires. Supply Raptor into P3. Drivers going off in the background here as they're still side by side. Sid and Glitched Hen. Oh, there's a bit of contact from the rear. I believe that's JG again. More contact from the AlphaTauri, really struggling to get through on Glitched Hen. Meanwhile, Jaden Lomax round the inside of YT. Ultra Titan looking for a move on YT as well here. A lot of swapping at the back as YT goes very far off. Meanwhile, Turbo Snail into the box. Cookie leading us away, but it's Kylo still close up behind. Cookie in that RB, and they've already pulled a 2-second gap to the cars behind. So could this be an indication of how the season is going to go for Season 3 in WHF? Is Kylo the new challenger for Cookie? Many challengers have come and gone. Meanwhile, Centrix all over the rear of Supply Raptor. Supply Raptor picks up a 3-second time penalty, as RAF also picking up a 3-second time penalty. Centrix on the inside of Supply Raptor, and we can see why Supply Raptor was struggling, because he has damage, but so does Centrix. Meanwhile, Kylo gets ahead of Cookie, which is a rare thing to see. Cookie being overtaken, we've seen it a lot last season with him and Cloud, and Kylo seems to be the new challenger who has arrived here in WHF. But Cookie won last season by 3 points, I believe it was, over Cloud. And we will see, can Kylo be the new driver to challenge him? Meanwhile, Centrix following Supply Raptor along as Supply Raptor dives it in to the box. as there's a driver out. Supply Raptor's already retired. He's called it a day after that early damage. Not too happy with how his race has gone. Meanwhile, the lanky one all over the rear of YT in the Ferrari here. Trying to find a way through on the entry to the S's, but he's going to have to stick back. As Ultra Titan picks up a rare penalty. Early on in this race, Centric's also picking up a time penalty. The penalties are flying in, as you will see in COTA. In COTA, it is important to stay within the track limits because you will probably benefit the most from any other track. Meanwhile, Cookie re-inherits the lead, swapping with Kylo, as Kylo and Cookie working together to gap the field. 3 seconds is the gap to Tom now. Meanwhile, a big send from Sid on JG. Battling now. JG still has that wing damage from that turn 1 incident, which is making his life a lot more difficult trying to battle with people here. And Sid in the Mercedes gets on through. Meanwhile, RAF has had a spin and a rejoin that I think led to big damage there for Codzilla. Codzilla seems to have fallen down. I don't know who got the damage there. I've seen end plates flying around. Ultra Titan going very wide here. Meanwhile, RAF sending it on YT. Contact between YT and RAF. I wonder who was involved in that incident. Do we see any driver come into the pits? We do not. Meanwhile, Sid getting ahead of Jaden. Well, there's more Jaden getting ahead of JG in this battle. And Jaden on board with him. A little bit of the commentator's curse. We see him pick up a penalty there. Meanwhile, Kylo dives it in at the hairpin to get ahead of Cookie. As Cookie looking for a way back through again. But Kylo looking very quick here with the DRS as well. Can he use this to escape from Cookie? But these two very similar pace, and it is great to see these two drivers battling for the lead here. On lap 4, long may it continue. Meanwhile, JG having to put up a more of a defense as there's a major desync. I don't know what's going on here. Side by side go Jaden and Mercedes. A little bit of contact between Sid and Jaden as YT picks up a time penalty. And it's RAF has gone around, spins. And Ultra Titan and YT. Cookie's retired! Cookie's retired! He's lost it! Where has he lost it? I don't even know where his car is. Did he bin it into the pits? Where is Cookie's car? I don't even know. I think Cookie lost it into the pits. I'm so confused. But Cookie, our main challenger, has lost it. Kylo has picked up a time penalty in result. I wonder, was there contact between Kylo and Cookie? Yeah, Cookie says in the chat he binned it in the pit lane. So, Cookie tried to do a recreation of my driving, which I wouldn't recommend, but anywho, our 4-time champion really showing how great. Don't expect me to be the normal me. Ultra, are you trying to have me make one of those wolf edits about you? Is that what's going on here? Doing the you sink into my clothes in the background of your edit. Is this what's happening, Ultra? Because I'm so confused. What does that mean? Anyway, JG out following the safety car onto the mediums. Has he fixed his front wing? He has not. So, big rip for JG in the chat. Could have fixed his front wing and probably would still be in P7. Meanwhile, Ultra Titan, who does have a time penalty, did he fix his front wing? He has. So we're expecting Ultra to make a bit of a comeback despite his time penalty. Anyone else with damage here? We will see. I do believe Cookie says he has a league race to go to, so getting used to cockpit camera and wearing shoes instead of socks, aka you're slow. Does that mean I'm going to be quicker, Ultra? We do see Kylo faint to go into the pit, but it is going to be Tom who does go into the pits. And JG's going to drive through. Why does this always happen? JG gets a drive through entering the pit lane because they didn't fix his front wing in the first place. Now at least he gets them to fix his front wing, but now he'll have a drive through. So JG, one of the most unlucky drivers you're ever going to come across. Last season really struggled with wheel glitches and all the sort, but now has a drive-through in this race. But anyway, as we're in a bit of a lull chat, I would like to show you my new transition that I bought last night. That one. Is this the one? Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello. I unfortunately don't have the chat or the Twitch thing linked, but because it's linked to my own disc or my own Twitch, so you're not going to get the same thing. But hello, everyone. I hope you enjoy the new transition, because it costs me money, because I'm not smart enough to make my own transition. But anyway, an exciting race nonetheless, where transition is meant, says Ultra. I hope you all enjoyed the transition. That's what we're here for. We're only here for the transition, lads. Who cares about the racing? We're here just to see the transition. I might even show it again, just because I can, you know. Just because I can. You know what? Boom, transition again, lads. Transition again. I had to show it. Anyway, the safety car's in this lap. Guess what, lads? Transition again. It's the transition again. But anyway, we've got enough use out of the transition. It'll be Kylo getting us restarted again, followed by Cintrix. Does Cintrix still have that damage? I believe he does. Cintrix still carrying that lap 1 damage from the turn 1 incident. So Cintrix did not get a chance to get a new front wing and all new tires. Kylo's going to get us restarted here in the Aston. Sid in the Mercedes is going to be punchy because he does know his teammate does have damage. I wonder, is Sid going to have a lock into turn 1? He does have a lock into turn 1, and I think that was more just trying to avoid Cintrix because he didn't realize he's going to be braking as much as he did. Doesn't realize his teammate does have the damage, I'm assuming. Cintrix picks up another time penalty. Which may allow Kylo now to head on down the road, because Cintrix, with this damage, going to really struggle. Meanwhile, Ultra picks up another time penalty. Side by side with the lanky one. And I myself do not race on wheels, so I don't know why Shoes is much slower. Ultra, I'll buy you some socks if it means you're still quick. We'll get the WHF badge plastered all over the socks, as we have a bit of a 4-way battle here between Glitch 10, Ultra, Codzilla, and the lanky one. 4-way battle over the battle for P5, and it's going to be Codzilla on the fresh softs. Gets through, but a bit of contact from Ultra forces Codzilla almost into the wall, and he's going to lose multiple positions here. He's now side by side with Naka Crackers. There's almost a 3-wide moment with Tom involved. Tom into the rear, big snap of the rear. Avoids damage, but so close there. And JG and Turbo Snail into the box. As Codzilla now looking for the move on Naka Cracker. Naka Cracker looking to defend. Oh, there's contact. between Tom and Codzilla. Meanwhile, Codzilla all over the rear of Nakacrack as he picks up a time penalty. And Codzilla is on these fresh softs, but can't find a way through the hard runner of Nakacrack. Meanwhile, Tom, who was one of the leaders in this race, also wants to find a way through as well. Nakacrack defends the inside. Codzilla's going to choose the outside as Tom looks for the switchback. And he may bottle Codzilla up, and it may be a lovely move from Tom if he can get it to stick. Meanwhile, Codzilla on the outside of Nakacrack. He's lost 2 positions immediately. Ultra Titan on the inside as well. But it's a drag race between Cod and Tom. Tom gets through. Ultra gets through, and Nakacrack as well here. Meanwhile, Kylo already extended a gap of 2 seconds up the front. Surprising to see Sid outside the DRS gap from Cintrix, despite Cintrix's damage. So Cintrix, even with the damage, still has very good pace here. But will he be able to keep that up? The damage will continue to wear his tires. And Sid, as you can see, already closing back with inside the DRS. Meanwhile, RAF looking on the rear of the Lanky One. The Lanky One goes a little deep. Can RAF find a way through? Meanwhile, Addiction gets through on Nakacrack. Nakacrack losing multiple positions here already. As through the first sector we go, through the S's section here in Coda. And Glitch 10 closing up to Jaden Lomax. Our top 5 runners already have pens in this race. Meanwhile, RAF sends it into the hairpin on the Ferrari of the Lanky One. Meanwhile, Tom looking for a way through as well here. But RAF has timed it beautifully, has the DRS as well, which means the Lanky One could lose out here. RAF into P6, Tom into P7. It breaks later than the Lanky One. Tom gets through. And Tom currently the top driver who is yet to pick up a pen. Meanwhile, Jaden side by side with the Glitched Hen. And Tom gets through on RAF. Lovely move there from Tom. We just about missed it. Trying to see the battle between the Glitched Hen all over the rear of Sid. Meanwhile, Cintrix picks up another time penalty along with RAF. Cintrix dives, I believe, into the pit lane to finally fix that front wing that he's needed for quite some time here. I hope he's told his team to fix his front wing, which I'm guessing they weren't fixing his front wing. That's why he's retired. I'm guessing he forgot to tell them, because you can never expect EA to want to change your wing. You have to tell it to, otherwise they won't, because they're simply bad. Anyway, Nakacrack and Addiction continue to battle on here through the S's. Meanwhile, Kylo has extended his lead to 5 seconds here. Meanwhile, the Glitched Hen gets through on Sid into P2 here. And Sid going to get back through again, as we may see Jaden look for a move on the Glitched Hen as well here. If we can get a good camera angle, which we can't. But the Glitched Hen keeps it ahead. Sid in P2 now. Meanwhile, Addiction and Codzilla swap for positions. It seemed Cod was going rather slow there, so maybe an incident for Cod again. Meanwhile, Glitched Hen all over the rear of Sid. And now with the DRS, can the McLaren get the easy move on Sid? Pulls out of the slipstream. Will have the inside of turn 1. Godzilla coming in to the pit lane. And Glitched Hen probably cuts a bit too much to the inside. That opens the door to the Mercedes again. And I believe Codzilla must have had damage from whatever incident he was involved in. Meanwhile, Tom continuing to pressurize Jayden Lomax. And this battle for P2 continues to loom on. It seems that Tom is in the best position because Tom has no penalties at this stage in the race. Oh, and Tom almost losing the rear. Trying to find a way through on Jayden. And if there's a late safety car, we could still see Tom potentially even go for the win here, as he may have the penalty gap. Meanwhile, it's Sid into the wall. Sid has pulled a cookie. Front wing completely gone off that Mercedes. Carried too much speed in. And Sid is going to hopefully have a new front wing waiting for him, which he does. But he would rather have not had to change his front wing at all. Meanwhile, Tom following Jayden Lomax through Sector 1 as Jayden trying to stay with the Glitched Hen. As Ultra Titan picks up another time penalty. And Ultra, if you're listening, I will send you some socks if you need them. I have an abundance of socks. Just let me know. I would rather you be quick than you pick up 30 penalties, because that's my job. Anyway, Tom now getting ahead of Jayden. Can Tom close up to the Glitched Hen and get inside the DRS? We will see. Currently holding up. An Ultra Titan pulling a GB, texting while driving. Someone arrest this man. Kylo comes in. Does get stopped. I seen a yellow flag and I thought, not again. It is Sid and Codzilla. Is Codzilla involved in an incident again? I don't believe it if he is. Again? Another incident for Codzilla. I don't believe it if so. What is happening, COD, today? Meanwhile, Kylo does exit in P5 on these fresh hards to go to the end. The lanky one going for the same thing. Sid and Codzilla going to the end. I believe COD has escaped the incident without any damage. Or he's just continuing on with it. Meanwhile, Tom firmly inside the DRS of Glitched Hen. Meanwhile, Naka Cracker picking up a time penalty. Tom will inherit the lead here. And can he? Meanwhile, Kylo getting ahead of Ultra Titan. Kylo currently essentially a net P1. But a safety car could play a factor in this race. Or even just if Tom switches for... Oh, as Naka Cracker was very deep. Almost running into the rear of JG. Has to take big avoiding action there. Just to make sure he didn't clip the RB. Meanwhile, Codzilla down the back straight, getting through on Sid. Sid have a little luck on the inside. Goes very deep. Can Codzilla find a way through? It's a lovely move from Sid. The fact he's got it to stick on the brakes as Codzilla runs into the rear of Sid here. Meanwhile, Glitched Hen now firmly outside the DRS of Tom. So Tom and Kylo really battling for this victory. Kylo on the hards to the end. Tom could switch to the softs in around 4 or 5 laps, I would say.
and could be in the battle for the win here. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, Jaden Lomax back inside the DRS of the glitched hen. As we'll move down again to Sid and Codzilla, who continue to battle the lanky one on the rear of Turbo Snail, who's picked up a time penalty here. And with the DRS, can the Ferrari make the move? We will see. Turbo Snail does try and go defensive, but with the straight line speed, it's going to be too much for the lanky one. Turbo Snail tries to tuck back to the toe, but the lanky one is too far ahead, and will keep that position in P9. But currently Tom leading us away. JG now, can he get within inside the DRS of YT Addiction? JG has the second, or the lap fresher hards at the moment, but he isn't close enough to make a move on the McLaren just yet. Meanwhile, Codzilla and Sid continuing to swap for places here. Great battling between the Red Bull and the Mercedes that we've seen throughout the years. Meanwhile, JG getting closer and closer to YT as YT locks the rears. Has a massive snap, but a lovely catch from the McLaren. And JG now just going to tuck him behind, knows he'll have the DRS as YT just kind of lets him through, or pulls really to the inside. I don't really know why. Pulls really to the inside to let JG through, I believe. And now trying to follow the RB driver. Meanwhile, Kylo can see his Aston Martin teammate as the glitched hands made some sort of error that has allowed Jaden and Kylo both through here. And the glitched hen looking to send it on Jaden, but backs out of that, keeping it safe. Meanwhile, Kylo picks up the fastest lap of the race. Can Kylo gap Jaden and glitched hen? It seems with his much fresher hards that he will be able to do so. But Tom is the driver we're looking out for, has no penalties, and has another stop yet to do, I believe, unless he's trying to stretch these mediums, which would be a very, very tough stint, especially on this game with how tough tire wear is. But glitched hen could see a way past Jaden, who's now 2 seconds off Kylo. Oh, meanwhile, glitched hen does get through on Jaden. It will be Turbo Snail, who is catching Nakacraka, but does have the lanky one here for company. It may be another lap before they see the back of Nakacraka, but can Turbo Snail defend from the lanky one, or will the lanky one be the driver to first have a go at Nakacraka? Down the straight we go. And the lanky one is going to get ahead. Big lock up there from Turbo Snail in behind, just about avoiding the rear of the lanky one. Meanwhile, Codzilla side by side with Sid. Sid sends it in. Another switchback attempt from Codzilla, but Sid covering that off. Lovely defense. Now Tom coming in now for either another set of mediums or softs. It is hards. Strange. Maybe the hards is all the tire that he had available. Ultra Titan comes in and executes the braking board that he needs himself because he runs no line. Sid picks up a time penalty. A lot of time penalties here. And Sid has retired from the session, as well as Codzilla. But Codzilla's is on track, and the safety car now out may benefit Tom as it closes up the field. And him and the lanky one are the only drivers without pens at this stage. But it will certainly benefit Kylo, who will get the free pit stop under this safety car, but we'll have to keep a look at the time penalties at the moment. Kylo's got 3, along with Jaden, JG, YT. Meanwhile, the drivers on 6 are Glitch 10, Naka Kraka, Turbo Snail, and RAF, and Ultra Titan. Very unlike him. Very unlike Ultra Titan. You see him in 9 seconds. That's more of what I like to do. But we're probably going to see Kylo come in for the soft, so no, he stays out. Surprising to see. I'm pretty sure we're going to see both the Glitch 10. Kylo's left the session. Oh. The Glitch 10 has got a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Interesting. So, Kylo's left. I wonder, can I get him back in again, or is he left just because... whatever. Not appearing on the friends list, so if anyone wants to get Kylo back in, please do. Hopefully we can get Kylo back into the race, who is our leader, but didn't get a chance to box. If anyone is listening to the stream, if you could invite Kylo back. Ultra's picked up a time penalty under the safety car. This is... Ultra's really trying to do his best impression of me. And I'm starting to get angry. This impression is like... is really insensitive, Ultra, you know? But currently, I wonder, can I click on Kylo? No, it doesn't work that way. You'd think EA would add that as a feature, but no. They just give you a friends list that is limited to people who aren't even, like, this isn't even all my friends. It's just, here's a selection of your friends. Hopefully the person you want's in here. We know you have more, but this is it. But anyway, Tom H, out on the hard tires, does have no time penalties. And Kylo says his Wi-Fi's turned off. That is heartbreaking. Hopefully I can get him back in again if he does appear online again. Hopefully it's not completely dead. But Kylo and Cookie, two of the quickest drivers here. Turbo Snail getting a time penalty underneath the safety car as he's gonna lose it potentially. But quite strange. Anyway, quite strange to see so many drivers pick up pens underneath the safety car. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at the pens again. We've got Glitch 10 on 16 following his speeding in the pit lane penalty. Ultra Titan now has 12 and Turbo Snail has 12. So the Glitch 10's race is essentially over. The Glitch 10, if you're racing serve the pit lane penalty now. Otherwise, your race is over. If you box now, you'll serve your pen and then rejoin at the end. But never mind, safety car's in. It's basic. It's Jover. It is Jover. Anyway, Kylo will be restarting us, but don't think he's online. Yeah, not appearing online for me at least. But it should be essentially Tom will be restarting us following whatever Kylo's AI does, and Glitched Hand, who does have 16 seconds of pens, he probably should have boxed to remove his 10-second. But it will be Tom H leading us underneath the safety car restart, and he's for some reason giving Kylo a very wide berth. I think he's just trying to time the restart so that he can have the best run on Kylo down the main straight. As we see RAF and Turbo Snail come in. As Turbo Snail's retired. Not happy with how his race has gone. As the Glitched Hand picked up another time penalty there underneath the restart. Tom H now gonna surely inherit the lead. And Turbo Snail says he got spun and wing damage under the safety car. Well, you gotta love that. Jaden's picked up another time penalty here. But for the remainder of the race, we will turn off the safety car, or off the penalties, unless there's another safety car. But Kylo, unfortunately, dropping down the order. And his safety car, or his, not his safety car, his Wi-Fi seems to have completely died. So there's not a lot we can do. Meanwhile, Tom should win, as Turbo Snail in the chat does say. The only driver here without pens, and all he really needs to do is keep it clean to the end and make sure the Glitched Hand doesn't get ahead. And, well, even if the Glitched Hand does get ahead, he just needs to make sure that JG gets ahead and disappears off from the distance. Which JG finished P4 in the championship in WHF last season. Could still be a threat here. Jaden Lomax, one of the quicker drivers in WHF as well here, could be a threat to Tom, but Tom been very quick here today, been very consistent, no pens. I believe this is Tom's race to lose at the moment. Even on the hard tires, he is still showing the pace that he has. YT picks up a time penalty as there's a big kerfuffle into turn 1. Ultra gets through ahead. Meanwhile, YT gets back ahead of Ultra. I wonder, did Ultra have an illegal overtake because he seemed to be let back through again? Or is Ultra just struggling wearing shoes? And that is why. Meanwhile, the lanky one looking for a switchback on Nakakraka. Nakakraka just about keeping it ahead, defending well here. Meanwhile, Ultra's just chucked it into the side of Addiction. I think he is going to lift off the throttle to let the McLaren back through again, but Ultra really struggling on the brakes here. Man, I will buy you some socks. I know you say you don't need them, but yikes. Anyway, Tom is now firmly back in the battle here for the lead. He had a bit of a gap. Jaden with a lovely switchback goes for the sand. Jaden finds his way through into the lead. Tom, all he needs to do now, oh, he's ghosted with the Glitched Hand. This could be bad for Tom. Tom now has dropped down to P3. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get any damage here. And his battle is truly between him and JG at the moment. JG only has 3 seconds of time penalties. So if Tom can keep JG behind, he should have the win, because Jaden and Glitched Hand have too many penalties at this stage to really pull that big of a gap. Meanwhile, Jaden and Glitched Hand go side by side into the S's. This could be bad. Someone has to back out, surely. It is Glitched Hand who does back out to make sure that all the drivers survive into the S's. And lovely racecraft we have seen from all of the new drivers here in WHF. Hope to see them back again for the beginning of Season 3. But currently we're led by Jaden Lomax But as stated before, Tom, who is the Nat P1 due to his penalties, or due to not having any penalties, his battles between him and JG. As JG now may send it on Tom, knows that is who the battle is between. Can JG find a way through on Tom? And he does send it in. He sends it in very late. Tom, can he stick it round the outside? JG's picked up another time penalty, going for that move, and I think that is sealed it for Tom. Tom just needs to keep it clean to the end, and there's pretty much nothing any other driver can do to stop Tom from winning here. This is a battle between Tom and Track Limits for the next 6 laps, as Ultra Titan has been losing that battle all day as he picks up another time penalty. Meanwhile, the lanky one trying to find a way through as RAF and YT battle here. YT sends it on the inside. There's a sandwich as RAF sends it on the outside, and there's a big sandwich, and the lanky one gets through on all of them. And RAF, Ultra Titan and YT all come together, and there's realistically nothing they could do. 3 wide moment, nowhere for Ultra to go, nowhere. Someone should have backed out, and that's kind of what happens when all 3 drivers go for the same move. Someone has to back out. You've seen it today in Spain at turn 1. Into turn 1, Russell around the outside. Meanwhile, JG dives it on Tom, and Tom doesn't really need to worry. Just needs to stay with JG, and the win will be his. But I'm sure, as a racing driver, he wants to win this on track, and he sends it through on JG. Lovely move there from Tom and the Williams. As JG gets back through again. But realistically, I don't believe JG's going to be able to pull the gap. As Glitched Hen now outside of DRS. If Tom can just continue to battle with JG. Glitched Hen isn't really in this battle at all because he has so many penalties. But Tom just needs to really waste the time of JG as much as possible. And the win should be Tom's. Meanwhile, there is a straight battle between Jaden and JG, I believe. Even on pens, never mind. Jaden has 6 seconds extra, so JG essentially fighting here for P2 and P2 alone. JG should have P2 wrapped up at this stage. It just really depends. Does he have the pace to catch Glitched Hen, get past him, and then hope Glitched Hen helps him pull 6 seconds to Tom? I just don't see it happening. Tom's been so quick today. I do believe it should be Tom on the top step of the podium as he looks for a move on the outside of JG as we get horrific camera angles here. And Tom unable to find a way through, and JG is defending well. But currently we've faced a little bit of a lull. JG finally back in the DRS of Glitched Hen. Jaden has dropped out of the DRS. But Tom should have the race wrapped up here. Meanwhile, Jaden's dropped behind the lanky one. Has Jaden has set his controller down or something. Jaden is just done for the day. But meanwhile, JG back in the lead. But it is not a net P1. Meanwhile, again, we're seeing that send as the glitched hand sends it on JG. But JG's kept a wheel in here. Can JG fight it round the inside, which becomes the outside of the next corner? The glitched hand picks up another time penalty, as if he doesn't need any more. Meanwhile, Tom watching these two battle as we head onto lap 26. 3 laps to go in this race. Can Tom find a way through? And JG actually, he bumps into the rear of JG. Makes life really uncomfortable for JG trying to get on the brakes as Ultra Titan picks up another pen. But the three-way battle for the lead is so exciting. It's definitely going to be decided on track. I mean, the penalties have nothing to do with it. But here, let's treat it like it is a battle for the lead, and the penalties do not factor in. Currently, it is the glitched hand leading, despite several penalties. But regardless, still is leading. I actually think the lanky one, the lanky one's probably going to jump glitched hand because he has so many penalties. But JG now, as we head onto the penultimate lap, can he at least overtake on track for Pride? And we're not talking LGBT. Jaden has firmly just completely dropped in this battle. I wonder, did he have a big spin or something? Some mistake that has dropped him all the way down to P5. He's still maintaining pace with the lanky one, but he lost around 10 seconds because he just fell off the back of never mind. Jaden has spun again. He's missing both M plates. Is Jaden. So Jaden really struggling at this stage in the race. Must have cooked his tires and causing him to spin many times in this race. Meanwhile, Ultra and YT continuing to battle. And this is an Ultra Titan with shoes on. As Nakakraka picks up another time penalty. JG now around the outside of glitched hand. Going for the move. Has the inside to the next corner as he's forced a bit off track. Side by side with glitched hand. A little bit of contact as the glitched hand's now forced off track. Meanwhile, Tom dives into the lead. And there's a big spin from the glitched hand. He sent it in too deep. Makes contact with the side pod of Tom. And that is the glitched hand. That is his race done and dusted. He will not win this race on track. And I don't think you'll see the podium as well, with the lanky one being with inside his penalty margin. Meanwhile, we do have at least a battle for the lead on track. The penalties have nothing to do with it. What are penalties? Anyway, JG now has one more lap to get it done with Tom. As Jaden, I think, is calling it a day here on the final lap. Meanwhile, Ultra and YT. YT dives in. And Nakakraka also involved in this battle. But great battling between YT and Ultra. And Nakakraka getting involved here as well. Meanwhile, Tom weaving down the straight as Ultra's picked up another time penalty. JG trying to brake later than Tom. Just too far back to do it. As the glitched hand picks up another time penalty. I think he's going for a disqualification if he can get it. At this stage, meanwhile, YT and Ultra continue to battle. But it will be Tom as we round the final sector. Tom H in the Williams on his WHF debut has one more corner to go, and he will win the social race here in Texas. Lovely debut for Tom, followed by JG, followed by Glitched Hen, who has another 10-second time penalty. I think that's just them letting you know he didn't serve his whatever pen, his speeding in the pit lane penalty. Meanwhile, Nakacracker looking for the move on YT. Ultra Titan has gapped YT a little bit here, but Nakacracker ascending into the final corner. Forces YT wide. It's a race to the line. Who's going to get it? It was YT, but with the penalties, where does everyone finish? Nakacracker finishes P6. YT does finish P5. Ultra Titan all the way down. JG, driver of the day. And that was a fun race, despite all of the chaos involved. But it was Tom H with the win, and what a win it was for the Williams driver on his debut. We also seen the debut of AMS Kylo, which was looking very promising before his Wi-Fi unfortunately committed itself. Anyway, but Cookie did return momentarily for the social race before he had a leg race to do. But great to see Cookie back in the fold, and we're hoping to see him try and retain his championship next season, which will start in 2 weeks' time. For those of you who are unaware, sign-ups available in our Discord. For those of you unaware, I don't even know why I'm really going through the race director. It doesn't really matter. But for those of you in the stream watching who want to join the Discord, I'll pop the link in there now. And you can join our Discord, and sign-ups close in on the 1st of July. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Sign-ups do close on the 1st of June. And just for good measure, chat, we're going to do one more. Boom. We'll do one more transition just to sign it all off. Just to sign it all off for everyone. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. We're going to find someone to raid on our way out if we can. Jesus. Ultra's going full on tryhard mode. He's got cuts on his feet, he says. That's how hard he wants the chat, you know. That is how hard he wants it. But let's try and find someone to raid on our way out. Let's see who's live. Who's live that I want to raid? Sure. Let's raid F1 Scott. F1 Scott. Let's give him a raid. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. We will be back potentially next week for another social race, but we'll be back definitely in 2 weeks' time for the opening of WHF Season 3. I've been WHF Arrow. Thank you all for watching. And but nothing really more to say. We'll see you then. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.
0.299 in second place.